When people meet me, they often assume I'm a Democrat. It's an automatic assumption because I'm gay, and for many, that's enough to place me in a particular political box. But that's far from who I am. I am a conservative. I am proud of it. I believe deeply in traditional values, in protecting religious freedoms, and the right for people to live according to their beliefs, whether or not these beliefs align with my own. Now, I want to be clear. I am incredibly grateful for the progress that has been made when it comes to gay rights. The fight for equality, for the ability to love and live freely without discrimination or fear, is something I've benefited personally from. But over the years, I have watched as the Democratic Party, the party most people assume that I support, had taken things in a direction that concerns me. It feels like they've gone too far. What started as a movement for equal rights has morphed into something that that quite frankly, I believe is hurting both gay rights and religious freedom. The original goal was equality, respect, and the freedom for all people to live their lives without being punished for who they are. But now the focus seems to have shifted. The Democrats have pushed policies that go far beyond protecting individual freedoms and have started to infringe on the freedom of others, particularly those of faith. For me, faith is as central to my life as my identity as a gay man. I am a Christian. That's the core part of who I am. And yet, what seems to happen is that in the name of tolerance and inclusion, many in the Democratic Party seem to have lost sight of the importance of religious freedom. It's no longer about protecting everyone's rights, it's about forcing one's ideology over another, especially when it comes to the issue like marriage, family, and religious beliefs. I've seen I've seen firsthand policies that claim to support gay rights, but in reality, they create conflict with people of faith who simply want to live according to their beliefs. It's not enough to live and let live anymore. There's a pressure to conform, to accept, and to support things that might go against someone's deeply held religious conversions or conversations. And that's where I feel the Democratic Party has gotten it wrong, really wrong. They've forgotten what the strength of any free society lies in allowing people to have different beliefs. It's about giving everyone the space to live according to their own values without imposing one side's merely on the other. But lately, it feels that tolerance is only extended to one side, while the other is vilified or shamed for holding different views. I've watched this unfold with sadness because because the very rights I fought for, equality, equal rights, the ability to live freely and openly, are being used to silence others, particularly religious individuals and institutions. Laws meant to protect have been twisted to compel, and instead of fostering mutual respect, there's growing division. I believe in true equality. That means respecting people's rights to disagree. It means standing up for everyone's right to live their lives according to their beliefs, whether those beliefs align with mine or not. That's what real freedom looks like. But in today's political climate, that kind of balance seems to have been lost. It didn't become a conversation or it didn't become about a conservative becoming it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy being a conservative my whole life. I became one because I believe the principles of freedom, personal responsibility, and the respect for all. And I can see how the Democrats, in their efforts to expand gay rights, have actually gone too far and ended up restricting the freedoms of others, particularly those with strong religious convictions like myself. For me, the answer is not about choosing one group's rights over another. It's about ensuring that we all have the space to live authentically, to honor both our beliefs, our identities, without forcing anyone to compromise their core values. The more the Democrats push on an agenda that aligns or that allocates people of faith, the more they hurt the very cause they claim to support. It's time to focus on true tolerance, true equality, the kind that allows us to coexist with our differences intact, because in the end, that's the only way we'll be free. When I first voted back in the early 90s, I voted, I made it before I was even 18. I knew I was going to be conservative because I believed in core values. I believed this is, I came out at the age of 16. So for me at the age of 15 to know I believed in core values, in family, and the right to, um, I always liked the stock market and I love to do things. But I was talking to a friend of mine in England the other day on Sunday, and I said, I can't believe I'm talking about religion. I can't believe I'm talking about politics on the Sabbath. But I said, you know what? It affects no matter what part of the world you're in. What happens in America this election affects all of us. It affects everyone. It affects people in Australia, people in India, people in Asia, people in Europe. It affects people worldwide. So it's important that we know that because I choose to be conservative, and it's a choice that I stand firm in, I stand strong. I choose to, because I believe the values that the Conservative Party has represented since I registered to vote back in 1991 or 92. I forget. I voted for Bush when uh, Bill Clinton was running against him, and I was very disappointed when he lost. When Bill Clinton lost, or when Bill Clinton won, I should say, I was very sad because I loved what the Bushes stood for. I loved what President Bush, his father, stood for. I loved what all conservatives stood for. I loved what Reagan stood for. And I got to say, I even loved what President Kennedy stood for. Wasn't around then, but when I studied him in school, I liked his values. It doesn't mean that I am a liberal because I like somebody's values. And that's the whole core point of this, is to tell that we can have differences, we can have different opinions, but we can still unite and love one another. And I know that as this election comes up, our religious freedom is in jeopardy. And that's what made me want to use my platform, my my social media presence, to edify my beliefs as a gay conservative. I have two comments I want to get to. One is from Ashley. She says, Red Heart, if Trump doesn't win in November, how is he supposed to be able to pardon himself and not be held accountable to put on trial for trying to illegally overturn the results of the election? I don't think he did any of those things he's accused of. And in the end, God is the one, Jesus is the one that's going to plead our case. So whatever happens in this election, it's about his opinion is the one that matters of us. That's it. My friend John in Colorado says, props to you, brother. I'm 100% with you. Check out the Log Cabin Republicans if you haven't already. Hashtag Trump 2024. Yes, I'm well familiar with the Log Cabin Republicans. I love it. And for those of you who aren't, it's a group of gay men and women like myself who believe in the conservative values of and family values and the importance of having a conservative running or winning or in the House, if you may. And I stand with that 100%. I also stand with the fact that I am not one for all these labels, A, B, C, D, what the heck? I believe, back when I came out, or my friend John came out, who just talked about this in the live comments, there was no, the, they, them, what the heck. It was just gay or straight. And there was much more emphasis based on when I voted for Bush in the early 90s, people went, you voted for Bush? Wow. I wouldn't have expected that. However, they respected me. Now it's like, you're voting conservative? What? You get a whole whiplash of effects where a lot of times people who are liberal will speak and talk about the things that are conservative. But because it's Trump, they're like, oh, he's horrible. He's this, he's that. He's gonna, turn this country into communism or whatever. They don't know the facts. All they know is what they think. They haven't listened, or they haven't really delved into the core nature of religious freedom, or the core nature of the right, or the, for us, when I saw the debate, I almost fell over. Kamala, I couldn't, when she sat there and said the largest attack on the soil, the US soil, since the Constitution war was January 6th. I was like, oh my gosh, tomorrow is September, is 9/11. How could you ignore that? Now, because I said those two words, I'll probably be demonetized or something, because YouTube is very much about limiting monetization for those who mention certain things. Like when I talked about my brother dying from using things he shouldn't have used, my younger brother, I was demonetized off that video, and it did very well because I don't get it. I do get it. YouTube and Google are probably run by the liberals, but I'm not doing this for the monetization. I'm doing this because I believe in the cause. I believe in the importance of religious freedom. And I'm going to leave that with you. In the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.